What's going on, everybody? Alan Kiesel, Fatty Woods Barbecue, and I am super excited to show you guys today this new smoker, grill, whatever you want to call it, the Swiss Army knife, the Smokeslinger. I've been waiting for this for a while. I actually sold one of my offsets recently. I'm not going to tell you which one, but I did sell one of my nice offsets to make room for this. I've been looking at the Centex Low Country for a very long time. I've seen a lot of cooks on it. It is absolutely beautiful, but absolutely out of my league. And when I came across the Smokeslinger, I just knew that I had to have this. This thing is absolutely beautiful. It can do anything. It can smoke. It can you can do reverse flow, you can do normal flow smokes, you can do direct heat, you can do so many different things with this, and I can't wait to show it to you. But right now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get this off the crate. I'm gonna teach you guys how to do it. I spoke to Frank. He's one of the guys over at Smokeslinger. Check out the Smokeslinger channel on YouTube and Instagram. Frank does a ton of great videos, ton of great cooks. He'll go over it as well. I'm gonna do a full walkthrough today, and then I'm gonna start doing some cooks on it, but I did wanna get a video showing you guys how to get this off of the crate, because a lot of times I get smokers and it's a pain in the ass. All right, so as you can see, we have these brackets. What we're gonna do is we're gonna just remove this top bolt and bottom bolt. Then we're gonna remove this one, and then we'll just pull the bracket out. We'll put the bolts back in, and we'll do that for all four of the wheels. You just wanna make sure, obviously, that these are locked. There's two locking casters in the front that swivel, and there's two straight casters in the back. So again, just make sure these are locked, because you don't want this to roll away on you. All right, so what I've decided to do while I still have one of the casters bolted down to make sure this thing don't go, I'm hoping it won't go, is I'm gonna take some of the things out of here. All right, as you can see, I'm soaking wet. It's hot out, and I only did 3 of those wheels and just took that stuff out. So I'm gonna take this last one off, and then we're gonna roll this thing off and pray we don't have a disaster. All right, so we have all 4 wheels off. One thing I decided to do, I was gonna bungee it. I probably should have done this before. I would recommend doing this before. Once you take them out, you get the handles off. Once I roll this off, this door is probably just gonna bounce around. Not too big of a deal, but what we're gonna do is we're just gonna get the vents and the handles on. Again, it's a couple of bolts. The handles are just gonna go on, help lock it in, so the doors will stay locked. I don't know if they'll bounce when we move it, but while I have the tools out and I'm already here, I figured I'm just gonna put those on, and then I don't have to deal with it later. So let me do that, and then we'll come back and we'll roll this off. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna roll it off. He said go the caster side to the front. That's so it rolls. The back wheels will just follow wherever you pull. You go the other direction, it can swing out on you. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna unclip these casters here, and then we're gonna roll it off to the left. I'm doing this live if anything happens. He did tell me that 70-year-olds do this by themselves. I don't know if he's just messing with me or he wants me to look like a big weenie on camera, but I'm gonna do this now and we'll see what happens. Pray for me. All right, it's actually not as bad as it looked. Yeah, he said to just drop it right off, so that's what we're gonna do here. I'm just gonna pull it and let it roll. I think we're good on both sides. A little sketchy, but I think we got it. Let me just kind of turn this way a bit, and that should do it. And there you have it. That's it. It actually wasn't that bad. So let me just tighten up these casters again, and that's it. So it's off. Now the fun part will be rolling it across the grass. All right, so as you can see, that's how we get it across the grass. We just stack a couple of, I think they're 1/2 inch. Some might be a little bit smaller. For something like this, when you take everything out, it actually works well. But if you're moving a heavy offset smoker, you know, something like a Workhorse 1975, you're gonna want some really thick wood, or it might start snapping depending on the terrain you're going over. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna give you guys kind of a nice walkthrough of everything about the Smokeslinger, and I'm gonna show you the inside, and I'm gonna show you a couple of different setups we can do as well, and really why I call it the Swiss Army knife and why I love it so much. So let's get you inside, and let me show you all the pieces and show you the different setups. All right, so I actually got the upgraded planches. This is an option. I believe they're about $300. You can check on the Smokeslinger website. They actually come with 2, which is really nice. So each one comes out separately. They got their own grease holes here to let the grease go down. And I just thought these were a really nice addition. You can pretty much cook breakfast on it. You can do whatever you want. So think of this like having a Blackstone as well. So this just expands the capabilities of it. So I'm not going to go too much into it. You guys know what planches are. I'm sure you've seen any type of flat top grill. It's all very similar, but again, it just really expands what you can do with this grill. So let me take these out and then I'll show you the inside. All right, so these are actually the new bar grates that come with it. They used to have, I don't actually call them expandable grates, those kind of a mesh grate, but they swapped these for the bar grates, which I'm actually really excited about. And a lot of companies like Workhorse Pits, 1975, the Smoker, they're adding those as an optional accessory that's actually quite a bit more money. So I'm really, really excited that they decided to put these on. I personally just like them better, easier to clean, more easier to manage. So for me, I'm really excited that they have added this. So if you see videos with the other ones, just know that if you get a new one, it's going to come with these grates. So this is really cool. So I'm going to take one out. There's two different racks. There's a shorter rack and there's a longer rack. So the shorter ones go on the bottom, the longer ones go on the top, and that just gives you much more cooking space. So instead of just having the top like you would on an offset smoker or a smaller top grate, you're actually getting like two full size racks here, which is really cool. So these come right out, lift them right out. And you'll see now you got the second one there. So one, that just gives it a ton of flexibility, right? You can just cook more things. You can move things around as you need to, depending on the heat. So that's one thing. As you'll see also, you could probably see it here. I'll show you better in the video, but there's vents on both sides, and it's actually on the opposite side as well. So that gives you more flexibility when you're cooking and you're doing different zones, or you want to cut one off and let smoke go out a certain direction. That's another option. So this is really cool. So you have this option, and the best part about this is if you have one zone running, maybe you have a hot zone and a cooler zone, you can cook something over one side, let's say steaks. You want to reverse sear some steaks, you can have it off to the side. You can have, which we'll get to in a second, these deflector plates, you can have them over the fire, so you're cooking at more of an indirect low side for your steaks, and then when they're done, you can have these out directly over the fire, slide it right over, and just sear those steaks. So really, really cool right there. I'm gonna get these grates out, and then I'm gonna show you my favorite part, and probably what makes this one of the best things I've seen. Oh, those are heavy, they're solid, are the deflector plates. Now, if you've ever seen a reverse flow smoker, usually they have a deflector plate on the bottom. The smoke comes from the firebox underneath the food, underneath the baffle plates, the deflector plates, and then they come up and over and out. So that's actually an option you can do here, which is really, really cool. So check this out. So let's say I want to have a reverse flow. I close these off, right? So I close these off so we can't get any airflow out of there. I'm going to put, which I'll show you in a minute, the baskets, the charcoal basket, the wood basket, whatever you want to call it. I would have the fire on this side underneath these baffle plates. And what that's going to do is that's going to force the smoke to come underneath these plates, up over your food, and out these vents here, which I'll show you in a second because you probably can't see them. So that's one setup you can do. Make it a reverse flow smoker. The other option you can do if you really want is you can do kind of the same thing, but instead of reverse flow, you would start the fire on the opposite side, but you can leave these here. So let's say you have the fire running down here, your smoke, your wood comes up. Think of it as, that would be like an offset. So you would have your firebox to the side. Smoke's gonna come up and travel across these vents because it can't go out these ones, and then right out, and you can smoke as well. And you can even put things on both grates. We're gonna go as well into later, we're gonna see the heat, because this is the one thing that's actually been a question for me for a while, is the radiant heat that's gonna come off of this lid. Usually with offset smokers and other grills like a Kamado, you have a rounded dome or a rounded smoker, obviously, a barrel. On this, it's pretty flat and it's pretty narrow. So if you're cooking something right here and you're getting the heat on this, it's actually gonna cook it a little more, and it's not just gonna be the smoke and the heat that's coming over it. So instead of more of the convection, you're getting a lot more radiant heat off the lid. So one thing I've heard is if you cook, or if you're smoking something, you do it on the lower grates. That keeps your meat away from the lid. But we're gonna see as we go along and we try this thing out, what it's capable of. So another option that you can do, there's so many, like I said, you can have a fire going in both sides, because as we'll see, there's fire baskets on both sides. You can separate these out if you want. A little space there between each one. I'm not going to do every one, but you can slide these down and get some spacing between each one and cook right over it. So you're not getting full direct heat, but you're getting the benefit of having these deflect the heat down. So the thing is, when you're cooking over direct heat, the heat is coming directly up over the coals, over wood, whatever your fuel source is, and it's coming up right at your meat and it's cooking it really hot. The great benefit of having the deflector plates is it's actually going to take that heat and almost send it back down because it can't come through. It's just going to take that. So it's going to let a little bit through, but not. So now you can go and you can have, you know, something that you want to grill like pork chops or anything, you know, if you want high heat ribs, there's just, I mean, again, tons of benefits as well. You can cook sides on that and you just leave a little bit of air coming through and that's going to let it heat but not get fully blasted. And then these come out. These actually, it's really cool. So these have these notches. You can see them right there. So these notches on each end, and they just drop right in. So you just put them in, and drop these in, and you can do whatever you want with them. So I'll just put these here for now. Apologize for all that noise. So now you'll see here, you actually have the charcoal basket down there. So if you want to just do direct heat cooking, that's actually an option. You have your charcoal basket or your wood or whatever you want. You can have your fire going right here. And again, you can have the grate. So now you can have direct heat here for whatever you're cooking direct heat. If you want to have your chicken, you want to finish it off there. And then you can have other things going on the other side. Have a fire in that basket if you want, or just have the heat source there coming over and just getting the residual heat. You can open up the vents and just have the air flowing out in every direction, so we're moving. So that's another option if you want to have sides going or something that's you want it to cook a little less heat and not direct, obviously. You can put it on this side and you can still have the direct heat stuff on this side. So again, there's just a ton of versatility with this and you can do so much. Now, that's a reason why I love the Kamado Joes, because I feel like they're so versatile. You can do so much. But there's a couple of benefits that I really, really like about this is that these charcoal baskets slide out. So with a Kamado grill, once you have the charcoal going underneath and your wood chunks and whatever else you have in there, and you have your racks on and your food on, it's very, very hard to add more wood or more charcoal or whatever you want to do if you want to have a long cook and get more in there. So you actually have to take everything out and it's a headache. With these, you can let everything keep cooking. You can slide the drawer right out, which I'll show you how that works. Let me move these heavy grates. We'll open this up. So as you can see, we have obviously the charcoal basket right here. And watch this. It slides right out. So mid-cook, you can add a different type of wood. You can add more wood. You can, if you start off with charcoal and you want to add wood later on for whatever reason, you can do that. There's so much versatility here as well. And it makes it so much easier. For me, it's just so much easier to clean, so much easier to use as you're cooking. So that was another benefit that I really saw over using something like the Kamado Joe or a Kamado style grill or any other type of charcoal grill. So huge benefit there as well. Let me show you these baskets. I'm gonna move the camera around. I'll show you the baskets now in the drawer and show you how these work. All right, so let's take a look at these baskets. Now this is really cool. Like I said, these are drawers. These are actually removable as well. So you don't even have to use these if you don't want to. You can run a fire just like you would in an offset. You throw your charcoal or your wood right in the bottom of this and you can just run it that way too. But they built these baskets, these slide out baskets that are really, really nice. So once they're in, you slide them out and they put these ash trays in there as well. Which is really cool. There might be a better name for it, but you know, if you've seen any other charcoal grills or other types of grills, some offsets come with them. This is really, really nice. So you have your basket there without it, your vent to the front. We'll go over that in a second. And then you put these in. And what happens is as it cooks, the ash falls through, goes underneath, and you just have your fuel source. So you have your charcoal or your wood just sitting on top burning. It helps with the airflow. It's just, again, another nice little thing that they added to this that you don't have to pay for. It just comes with it. And then you'll see here on the drawer, you have the flat back here, which is solid, and then you also have the vents here. So one thing to always remember if you're using this smoker, that the vents have to go to the front because the airflow is coming through the door right here. And obviously you want it to go through here and into fuel source and up. If you have it backwards, you're just gonna be blocked and you're not gonna get that airflow. to really help the coal bed and everything ignite properly. So that's one thing to notice. And the really, really cool thing is you have two. So like I said, you can have a fire going in one side, up and out, and that's going to give you a normal flow smoker. You can flip it and again have it come the other way and out. That's going to give you the reverse flow. You can have direct heat on one side, so if you don't have any baffle plates in, you can just run the direct heat, and on the other side you can put it if you want and run something there at a different temperature. And you can probably, from what I've seen so far, which we'll get into more as we're cooking, is you can probably have 150, maybe even more degree difference between one side or the other, depending on how you set this up. So you can cook a ton of different things on this at once that all need different temperatures, which is like a very hard thing to do on an offset smoker and a very hard thing to do on other grills. Now a Kamado grill, like the Kamado Joe, with the tier system it has, it does make that a little bit easier, but for space that you're going to run out. This gives you so much space. I mean, you're getting offset smokers type space, even more than that, for like a 94 gallon or somewhere around there. And you know, you have the ability to do so much more with it, which is really, really why I love this. So let me show you the side vents to kind of explain more what I was talking about with the different setups you can have. But like I said, you put that in there and you'll see you have your vents that line up with this. So you can control, do I want full air through there? Do I want, you know, very minimal air? Might have to loosen that up a tiny bit, but you can see, so this is how you're going to control the intake of the air into the fire. All right, so these are the side vents that you have here. Again, they're both completely adjustable, so you can, if you want, you can even get crazy and move something to the back and close it off, move something to the front, have it fully open. You can keep them both the same if you want the same amount of airflow going through the entire chamber, but these are the valves, these are the vents that you have here. Super easy to handle and deal with. And again, you have them on both sides. So if you just want the air coming up and out like a normal grill, you can open them both up and have the air flowing, or you can close them off. So let's say again, you want to have a offset style smoker going, you have your baffle plates in, the smoke's going to come up from the fire out there, then you just close these guys off. So no smoke's going to come out. So it's going to force the air up over the meat and out the sides. So again, they're coming up with different ways to cook on this every day. Some of them are pretty cool and fun, and some probably you won't use much. But like I said, I mean, you really can get any type of cooking you want on this, and there's so many different configurations that you can just play around with and have fun. All right, so now we're at the point where we're gonna get this seasoned up. So some smokers, when you buy them, like Workhorse pits, they actually season them, the outsides of them, with linseed oil, boiled linseed oil, which we have here. Smokeslinger doesn't do that, and it's not hard to do. It's a quick process, and it saves you a ton of money because they don't have to do it for you. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna season the outside and the inside of this right now. For the outside, we're gonna use boiled linseed oil. You can get this at any hardware store, Home Depot, Lowe's. A couple things we're gonna use as well. I have a Scotch-Brite pad here. You don't have to do it, but there is some surface rust. Could just happen from the packaging when it comes in with the wrap. A little moisture gets under there, it puts a little rust on it. You can leave it, it's perfectly fine. It's not gonna harm it. Season right over it, which most people do, but I take a little Scotch-Brite pad and I just hit those edges just to get it off. You know, I'm a little anal, so that's something, an optional step, but you can do it. I also have some PAM. I'm going to use this on the inside of the smoker. So boiled linseed oil is not food safe, so we want to use it on the outside. You can use any oil. If you're not into linseed oil, that's completely fine. Linseed oil does polymerize a lot quicker and a lot easier, so you can actually put it on here pretty much without heating it up, and it's going to polymerize eventually with the sun and everything heating it up. So it just works really well for the outside. For the inside, we are going to use something food safe, so you can use avocado oil, you can use PAM. I'm going to use you want to use something a little higher heat, just because the inside is going to get much hotter. So just factor that in mind, otherwise you'll just burn it right off. A couple other things, we're going to have a tarp. For me, I'm on my pavers here, and I don't want to destroy the patio. If you don't care about what you're on, probably don't need that. Some nitrile gloves so we don't burn our hands and get any of this nasty oil on it. Linseed oil does have a tendency to combust. It's never happened to me before, but I've heard stories of it. So if you leave it, you know, sitting out or on the sun or in a bunched up rag or anything, it can go up in flames. Again, it's just a little fire. It's no big deal, but if it could lead to something bigger. So you can use a rag if you'd like to wipe it on. What I'm gonna use actually after are these shop rags. They're actually like paper towels, but without all the lint and stuff that can get in the seasoning. So I got this from Workhorse. It's just a plastic container and a quarter of like a car wash sponge. And then I'm gonna put the linseed oil in here and then just rub it on with this. And then I'm gonna wipe it down with the white rags that I have here, because you want a very thin, even coat. You don't want it to be clumpy or a lot of oil. So no matter what oil you're using, just a very, very thin coat is gonna go a long way. And that's pretty much it. So we're gonna get started here. I'm gonna kind of fly through the process, but you guys can see it on fast forward. And then what we'll do is we'll get some charcoal in there. We'll get it heated up to about 400, 450 degrees. We'll run that for a few hours. This way the inside oil can polymerize, the outside can polymerize. And any other spots that aren't, that are a little tacky maybe, or a little oily when you're done, if you are using linseed oil, I'm telling you, it's gonna just eventually on its own do it over time. But you can also take a torch, a weed gun. I'll show you the gun I use in a second, and you can just hit those spots with it and it should polymerize pretty quickly. All right, let's get this thing oiled up. All right, so we've been running for about 2 hours now. I'm gonna let it run a little longer, but as you can see, the coating, it's not as shiny as it was. We're starting to polymerize now. It's probably pretty much done, but again, I'm just gonna let it run because I like to do that and make sure the inside, the oil has polymerized as well. But that's it. I mean, we're ready to cook on this thing, so I'm probably gonna get some steaks on this thing later and do some reverse flow ribeyes on it. So I'm really, really excited. Again, I've been waiting for this for a while. You can just tell this thing is an absolute beast. It does so much, and I'm very, very excited. So check out the website. I think it's going on right now for about $2,900. That's for the double. They also have a single if you just want a single. I'm not exactly sure the price, and I know the prices are going up soon. So if you're interested, I would go check it out before August, depending on what time this video comes out. But again, I would ask you guys to like, subscribe, and just turn on those notifications, because we have a lot of videos coming out. I'll be doing a lot of cooks, a lot of different types of cooks on this, some smokes, low smoke, some hot, some mixed, and then we're gonna load this thing up sometimes to just see what we can fit on this thing, because there's so much cooking space. So that's really much it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.